aside though, they pay niggas to do that type of stuff. Just to influence your offspring, and then they go their way. All right, y'all, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And there they which testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that come from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Psalm 61. Well, Eugene, not that one, man.
It is 4:09.
Psalm 61, hear my cry, O Elohim, attend unto my prayer. For the end of the earth will I cry unto you. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For you have been a shelter for me, a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in your tabernacle forever. I will trust in the covert of your wings, Selah. For you, O Elohim, have heard my vows. You have given me the heritage of those that fear your name. Back to Psalm 76. What you talking about, little muffin? Where your head at? What you did with it? What you did with it, little muffin? Psalm 76. Oh, man. And Yehuda is Elohim known. This is 76 and 1 Psalms. His name is great in Yasharal. In Salem also is his tabernacle and his dwelling place in Zion. See, we came there because he told you in Salem is his tabernacle, which is why we read the Revelation 21. Now y'all know what Salem mean, right?
That's shalom.
That's shalom. Sean, Lamad, and mean. Go ahead with it then. Yeah, that's Jerusalem. That was his name before Jerusalem.
I thought it was Jebus.
Well, it was Salem, and then the Jebusites got it, and they called it Jebus, and then it got changed again because it was Salem. Remember, Genesis 14.
It was Salem when he was Abraham. The Jebusite got it when they were in Egypt.
Genesis 14 and 17. Sailor, you're looking confused back there. You all right, baby? Genesis 14 and 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer and of the kings that were with him, and at the valley of Shaveh, which is the Kingsdale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine. He was the priest of the Most High Elohim. Because guess what? The high priest can only dwell in the city where Elohim is chosen to place his name at. That's what the law say, right? Oh, there you go. Sean got paired to the shepherd's ruach for the Sean, Lamar, and me. And that's what you'll sit back and look at, because you would have to be paired to his ruach in order to dwell in Salem, because Salem is his tabernacle and Zion is his dwelling place. Let's look at Zion for those who don't know. That's everybody. I named my son Zion. I like that song. Lauryn Hill got a song named Zion. Lauryn Hill was a whore. Lauryn Hill was a stupid woman because she let a nigga get her pregnant 5 times with no wedding. And iniquity was worse. Because that's stupid. It's a mystery of her intelligence. Zion means parched place, if you don't remember. Sod, Yod, U, and Noon. World Heavyweight Championship. 4 fight card starting now. That's how they do it. You could have
been a sport, so it's
Little Muffin, what you over there doing? Sod, Yod, Ooh, and Noon. Little Muffin, what you over there doing? You don't know.
what word this for?
Zion, the parched place. You so don't say, Muffin. Aye.
You ain't say right.
No. Sod, Yod, Ooh, and Noon. Don't pull on her arm like that. No. Shalom, man.
The way of Yahushua joined the life.
Word. Sean got the work of the hand, secures you to the way of life.
Yeah, I was gonna say the work of Yahuwah secures you right there.
The work of Yahuwah, that's the parched place. Why is it parched though? Because ain't no water there. But when he parched,
Parched isn't dry.
Parched, dry. You know what I'm talking about? Like your jokes.
Right?
Everybody gotta have a lane.
I just was continuing from outside. I saw an opportunity. I just went ahead and walked in it.
Personal, bro.
How we just get one earlier? Oh my goodness! It's no secret that I've said for years that this nigga comedy is dry. Have I not?
We thought the round was over.
I didn't definitely know over.
Overkill.
Definitely double over. But you tell your toes.
On your toes, nigga. Bouncing.
That nigga do very stupid.
Them niggas say keep your hands up at all times.
I didn't want to tell you.
You don't want to be like Victor Ortiz.
Don't want to be like Deontay. That nigga had that nigga wobbling. Why you pulling on that? Why are you doing that, little muffins? Little muffin, I can't hold you right now.
Right. That's strong.
Very well then. Verse 3 of Psalm 76. There he break the arrows of the bow, the shield, the sword, and the battle. What does this relate to? This is something that we've already talked about. He say there in Salem and in Zion. Let me ask you this here. Is Salem and Zion the same place?
No.
Some people said, who said Salem and Zion is not the same place? No, now y'all just said it. No, now you ain't got nothing to say. It's not the same place?
I don't think it is.
Who says Salem and Zion are the same place? So I guess don't nobody else in here got an opinion.
I'm waiting to see.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Why is Salem and Zion not the same place? Who up under my tape? That bird up under there.
Salem is the city.
Okay. Is Zion and Salem the same place? Yes or no? He says Zion is the state. I think that boy Joshing with you.
Salem is the city.
Don't listen to that nigga.
I see it saying Zion is a mountain. Yeah, that's what I thought. Zion was a mountain that you looked out on.
Zion is not an actual location that can even be pinpointed in the text. I'll let you take Isaiah chapter 2 for mine. Little Muffin, you finna choke yourself. Ain't no states nor no cities in Yasharal. I told you that boy was joshing you and you kept on feeding him. Don't yank his chain. He might like that.
I didn't cross the line.
That's it.
That's it. He said, that's it. He said, I won't stand for this, so I'll sit down. Isaiah chapter 2. The word of Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem. It shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills. All nations shall flow unto it. Many of the people shall go and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob. He will teach us of his ways. We will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. Uh-oh. Now you got it again. Now, Sean just asked, is that the highest place in Salem? But it is a capital, and it is a mountain in Jerusalem. But guess what? It's still the same, because it's in Jerusalem. Zion is not a city. That's like saying the Mount of Olives is a city. Mount of Olives is still in Jerusalem. It was a trick question. There was no way you could answer that properly.
Isn't Amos the same one with the book of Amos in the book?
Which one?
In verse 1, Amos. Is that the same Amos that got a book?
Oh no, that's not Amos. Unless it's spelled like, but that ain't that's not the Amos back there. He was in the northern kingdom.
So you saying, because we knew that, so Zion is one of the mountains that's in Salem.
Yes.
Which would not make it the same.
It can't be the same because it's not a city.
Right.
That's why I just said that. The Mount of Olives is in Salem. And it's not the same, but it is the same because it can't be different because it's not a city. Most people think Zion is an actual city.
And that's what I was saying in Salem.
That's why I said that it was a trick question.
Yeah, it wasn't that you were wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't a proper answer.
Because it wasn't a proper question.
Gotcha.
I just wanted to see if anybody, because that's why Sean asked. I think that's a mountain range. And I think somebody else said that's a mountain range. Man, the mountain's symbolic of government. It might not even be an actual Mount Zion in the land, to be honest with you.
There was a mountain that you do with this blood.
No, it's just when he mentions mountains, he's talking about authority. But as far as an actual mountain top that he was dwelling in, no. Because I don't think the Mount Zion has actually been identified historically ever. If my memory serves me correct.
It's a figurative name.
Pretty much.
Well, look, the mountain that Moses was, that's a real mountain.
Mount Sinai is a real mountain.
Mount Sinai. I thought Mount Zion.
Mount Sinai is a real mountain.
That's in the wilderness of sin. That's not in Jerusalem.
That's not in Jerusalem.
I ain't been over there either.
Shoot, none of us ain't been over there. Most niggas in here ain't been that far out of the Western Hemisphere. I don't think about maybe one or two people in here who've been in the Eastern Hemisphere. Are you sleepy? Because you coming over here resting on my kneecap like you sleeping. Let's continue. What do y'all think this means? He breaks the arrows of the bow, the shield, the sword, and the battle. There is a scripture to go along with it. Maybe I'll give you verses 4 and 5, maybe to help you out. You are more glorious and excellent than the mountains of prey. The stout-hearted are spoiled. They have slept their sleep, and none of the men of might have found their hands. At your rebuke, O Elohim of Jacob, both the chariot and the horse are cast into dead sleep. Muffin, no. Stout-hearted is Leb Abir. So what you have that is you have a heart of the valiant or the heart of the obstinate for stout-hearted. That's how that translated. The heart of the obstinate have been plundered and spoiled. Shalom. Stop, Muffin. What are you doing that for? Why are you continually pulling on that cord? Huh? What you mean, huh? See? Look what you've done. Look what you've done. Huh? You ain't right, Muffin.
That's right.
I'll do it again for the win. Oh, I thought you were going to go lay your head down. Yes, Muffin. Y'all don't have any idea? Maybe verse 9 will help you out. But verse 8, you did call judgment to be heard from heaven. The earth feared and was still. And when Elohim arose to judgment to save all the meek of the earth, surely the wrath of man shall praise you, and the remainder of wrath shall restrain. Bow and pay unto Yahuwah your Elohim, and let all that be round about him bring presents unto him that ought to be feared. He shall cut off the ruach of princes. He is terrible to the kings of the earth. Maybe all that'll help you out. The question was, what does verse verse 3 regard to? That he break the arrows of the bow, the shield, the sword, and the battle. Let me tell you what shield, sword, and battle is, because we seem to be stumped here. I don't know what that means. Milkamah, you know, that's battle and war for battle. You know what sword is, right? Little Karev. Little sword, little knife. I know. And then, of course, you have your shield. Magan, your buckler. We need to be more specific than that. That's very generic. Oh, that sounds like it's coming.
Armageddon. Battle.
That's not what that say. Oh, well, you said that earlier. You a volume shooter. Russell Westbrook. You in the vicinity, but you're not at the basket. He said Revelation and 20. Now you in the vicinity, but you're just not specific enough. You're in the general vicinity, but you got to be a little bit more specific. Let's look at what he referenced with the Battle of Armageddon so you can understand what that's really talking about. Battle of Armageddon is what? What is the Battle of Armageddon, everyone?
Battle that's gonna be in the land and
the Battle of Armageddon is a place. The Valley of Jehoshaphat.
Yeah. There you go.
Revelation 16 for Armageddon. Little muffin. You're being grabby. Grabby muffin. Revelation 16 and 15. That's why you ain't got no net muffin. Revelation 16 and 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watch and keep his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into the place called in the Abarine tongue Armageddon. The seventh Malachim poured out his vial into the air. There came a great voice out of the temple of Shamahim from the throne saying, it is done. There were voices, thunders, lightnings. There was a great earthquake. Such was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. Does anybody know what earthquake he's referencing according to Genesis to Malachi? Because he's referencing a particular earthquake. Y'all stuck. It's actually referenced twice. I give you that. It's in Genesis and Malachi. Remember, and I'm only mentioning it because we read a Haggai that he said he'll what? He'll shake the heavens and the earth. But there's a specific place in the prophets, two actually, that references this earthquake that is being referenced here in Revelation. Yes, Muffin. Yes, Muffin.
Nahum?
No, sir. No, sir. Anybody else? Where Michael at? She hiding. She said she ain't gonna be no easy target.
Is it in Isaiah?
Yes, it is.
Give it to him, Michael. Give it to him.
I don't know, dog. Is it in verse 29?
29 of what?
Chapter 29, you mean?
I mean, yeah, chapter 29, my bad. Chapter 29.
No. We got 29-6 also. Sean does. That is not the one. I thought y'all would know this one here very easily. Let me get this Isaiah 29-6 that y'all done put up there. Because you need to go to sleep, Muffin.
Yes.
See, y'all talking about when he'll come with an earthquake and a tempest. Well, you the one jumped down like you was a stunt baby. It ain't gonna say earthquake. The second one will, but the first one won't.
Michael said Psalm 59.
No, the second one will, and the first one won't. I'm gonna give you what we had 20 minutes and 40 seconds. I give you till 21:40. The first instance will not have the word earthquake in the sentence. The second one will. What you got, Michael? I can't see you. No, you're not over there because I can't see you. So that means you're hiding. No, you had to turn your head and lean it over there. And then you got Monica hiding with you. She got her sunvisor on. Oh, that's you with that sunvisor on? I didn't even know you owned such a hat.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, very well. That threw me off because that looked like something Monica will wear because you know she country. Everybody knows y'all didn't hear her last night. You want the corner or the middle?
Definitely. You said the corner is the corner.
It's not Isaiah 2:21. I'm going to give you the second one first.
Please do.
Isaiah 13.
That ain't the one either, but I'll read that one for you too. I'm going to read both what you mentioned, but I'm going to give you the second one first. Well, matter of fact, I'm going to give y'all what you mentioned because Sean got Isaiah 2:21. Let's take a look at that. Were you watching football? That's Fox Sports. That boy getting ready. You know that nigga love. I'm going to see this junk boy. Who? That Gypsy King cracker? Well, that cracker hit hard. That nigga Bronze Bomber though. I don't know. Nigga won't get damn Russian nickel from me.
Entertaining by himself.
Ain't nothing to be entertained with. Hey. You stepping on stuff.
What you called last night? The day before?
What, a little bout of pugilism?
Nah.
What do you want, son?
Once the nigga knocked out, I like violence.
Oh, you said Isaiah 29:1.
He asked for it.
No, I didn't say 29 anything. Oh, I said Isaiah 2:21. He said, citizen right, he said to go into the cleft of the rocks and the top of the ragged rocks for the fear of Yahuwah and for the esteem of his majesty. He will arise and shake terribly the earth. Now, the verses that y'all mentioned are talking about the earthquake upon his return. He's talking about an earthquake so damaging during the time of Armageddon, which is actually coinciding with his return. But these ain't the two that we need. See, one of them you should have called easily. Zechariah 14. Bring her here, Abigail. Or take her to your mama. Matter of fact, let's take her to your mama. I went to Zechariah 4. That's not chapter 14. Zechariah 14:4. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. The Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west. There shall be a great valley, be there a very great valley. That's why I mentioned this one here, because it's referencing what? A very great what? Valley. And he tell you go into what? The valley. And Joel, what you reference, they called it the valley of decision.
That's what I thought that's what you wanted. Because I know this talking about Joel.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But no, that ain't what we want.
I just want to make sure
that ain't what we want. Because see, there's verses before that of him breaking it to why Zechariah 14 is referenced. Because why is he coming to Zion to do all this stuff here to break the arrows, the bow, the shield, and the sword? Because come back to verse 1 and look what he said what's going on there. That's why I was very, very, very specific. And we don't sit back and see Joel just talking about you done split my land and sold my people. Hey, get from off of that couch like that because you know better.
But it say the day of the Lord, same thing. In first verse, say the day of the Lord.
But see, the day of the Lord and the valley of Armageddon, he gathered them there. See, we need that coinciding. Because when he mentioned this earthquake that we finna look at, it's a little different. Because he's going to tell you why he's shooting this earthquake. See, this is very generic. I'm trying to make sure this tie into what we got in Psalm 76. You know what I'm talking about? Because clearly we know it's the day of Yahuwah, but we need specifics to be able to tie this into where we understand why this psalm writer, because I don't know if David wrote that psalm, I'm not looking at it right now, why this psalm writer referenced all the things that he referenced. Because if we was trying to not be very zeroed in specific, then yes, we could have grabbed the Isaiah 2, you can grab the Isaiah 29, you can grab the Isaiah 13. You understand what I'm saying? And they're all going to be correct. What I'm talking about is we're zeroing in on something very, very specific. Because the answer, let me put this, the answers are not wrong. It's just not the two that I was like, this is what we're going to zero in and grab. Because the answers are not wrong. Because he's telling you there's going to be an earthquake upon his return. That's evident. But we're looking at Psalm 76. And what did he say was going on in Psalm 76? He got to break the arrows of the bow, the shield, and the sword. But we need to look at why is he breaking it? Not just because they gathered. What are they breaking it for? You understand what I'm saying? Now let's look at Zechariah 14. Let's see what they're breaking it for. Behold, the day of Yahuwah come. Your spoil shall be divided in the midst of you. I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. Now see, now Joel does mention, that's what I said, mentions the what? The valley of decision, which is the valley of Armageddon, which is the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the valley of Hinnom. Y'all know about the valley of Hinnom. Michael, what's the valley of Hinnom, Michael? Look at her, swift on her toes. She's supposed to be from New York City. She's supposed to be tough. You know what? That nigga ain't from New York City. I done known this nigga a long time. I ain't never seen this nigga wear a pair of Timbs. What?
There's no point.
Why it ain't no point? Shoot, I beg to differ. I definitely done seen some chick skirts and all jean skirts, boots on in my youth. I said, yeah, that's fire right now. Oh, I see what it is. You only wanted to wear them when you had your tight birth canal jeans on. What that boy say?
Baby fat.
With a baby fat bubble jacket. Trying to show your fat. You ain't right. Zechariah 14, though. I'll grab all the spots that y'all reference, and then we can juxtapose them against the what we gonna look at. Look at what he said, right? The city shall be taken, the houses raffled, the women's ravished, half the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall Yahuwah go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. You can go back and drop down because we done read all this here. We've been verse 5 again. And you shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. You shall flee as like you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, Malach of Yehuda, and Yahuwah, my Elohim, shall come, and all the faithful with him. Now let's get that Isaiah 29 and 6. There's mentioned Isaiah 13. I already read Isaiah 2 and 21, didn't I? About them fleeing. Because see, them running into the mountains is the Revelation 6. Let the mountains fall on us trying to hide from Yahuwah. See, there's an earthquake going on, but we referencing something different because of the battle in the boat. He's doing all these things to defeat these people who have overthrown Jerusalem. You understand? Let's get this Isaiah 29 and 6.
See, when you look at the Hebrew in Revelation, it says that's Megiddo.
Megiddo is the same place as the Valley of Hinnom. Same
when you look at Megiddo on the law, that's not it's in the northern kingdom. It's like several scriptures where one nigga died and they took his body from Megiddo. Right hand, it's talking about Jehoaz, the servant, carried him in the chariot there from Megiddo and brought him to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I clicked on Megiddo, that's not like in the northern kingdom. From what it said, that's what confused me because we always said that Armageddon was in the Valley of Hinnom, but every time they mention Megiddo in the script, it's not in Jerusalem.
Definitely, and that would be inaccurate with the text because the battle going down in Jerusalem. Wrong, yeah, because that battle going down in Jerusalem.
Fact. But we know that because, like you said, it's too much.
Yeah, that man already told you that.
Yeah.
Shoot, Salem is my city. Zion is my dwelling place. So I dwell in Salem. So when he say Salem is my house, Zion where I dwell. Meaning Salem is my house and the authority of my house is in Zion, is really what he really saying. Which is why he say the word to go forth from Zion and the law from Jerusalem. The law going forth from the city of peace. Direction go from my authority, my government. But come over here to look at this Isaiah 29 and 5 though. Well, shoot, check it out. We could take it down to see this is the thing, that's the difference. Now we're not even gonna read Isaiah 29 because 29 is talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. When it said woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt, that lets you know that's not talking about the end. Because he's talking about what he's going to do to Jerusalem. You add year to year, let them kill sacrifices. You know, year to year is what? Tabernacles, Pentecost, unleavened bread. It'll be heaviness under Ariel. I will camp about against you round about, lay siege. You'll be brought down to the dust. You know what I'm talking about? That's the destruction of Jerusalem. You know what I'm talking about? See, sometimes don't just look at it's a earthquake. You gotta or say this, you gotta look at the context on the natural side of what's that referring to. And then see do it coincide with the end. You mentioned Isaiah 13 and 13, correct, sir? Yeah, Isaiah 13 and 13 might be in line also. Because he get a little come to Isaiah 13. You can pick it up in verse 6. Isaiah 13. Now, remember Isaiah 13 and 6 in natural context is referring to Babylon and what's going to happen to Babylon. Man, this nigga is wild. How? For the day of Yahuwah is at hand. It shall come as destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, which takes you to Isaiah 2, Revelation chapter 6. Every man's heart shall melt. They shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travail. They shall be amazed one at another, and their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of Yahuwah come, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Now remember when he said destroy the land, the sinners out of it, not only just the earth, but Jerusalem specifically. Why do we know this? Because he said in Revelation 11 that they would take over the, because come over here and look at it because I'm already back here. Revelation 11 and 1, because I'm already back here. Because see, we can look at tabernacle 2 ways, 3 ways, maybe even 5. One, the tabernacle of you receiving the Ruach HaKodesh. One, your tabernacle is you dwelling in Elohim. But more specifically, what we really zeroing in right now at this moment is Yahuwah dwelling in his own house. Because he's declared Jerusalem, as we've seen in Psalm 76, is that's my house. Which we kind of already talked about that when we read Leviticus 24 and 20. Y'all are sojourners and strangers with me. The land is mine. Or how we read in 1 Chronicles 29 last night. We are strangers and sojourners with you as our fathers were. Because if we want to sit back at tabernacles booths, remember, you started acknowledging tabernacle. This is how we know tabernacle come in, because it mentioned Feast of Tabernacle for you to come up and worship Yahuwah the King in his house. Oh, you don't want to worship me at my house? Won't get no rain then, nigga.
The transfer from other than the tent. They don't have the temple show you that.
Yeah, it's talking about him dwelling in his house.
Yeah. The nigga would have been doing in booths in the land.
In the land. For what? Yeah. Got all these niggas running to go camp. You don't take the tabernacle part seriously. We supposed to be camping out. Ain't nobody stopping you from being outside funky and cold, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, I ain't impressed by it. You see a whole bunch of niggas at the campground thinking they doing something. Ain't nothing wrong with it if that's what you want to do. But don't tell me you a vanguard of righteousness because you went to go keep buy a doggone tent and buy a plot at your local campground. Put a tent up in your backyard. I'm keeping booths. Man, the people didn't have no house when they made them booths. They were traveling. They were transients.
All right.
Boy, that was a temporary shelter. Them boy don't want to have that conversation, but they law scholars and experts, if you will. I have no time for your folly. Ain't even doing that right. We've been had that conversation. You buying Coleman tents. That man say, get branches, boy. Specific branches. Build you booths and dwell in them. Nigga went to Walmart. You paid $40 for that. Straight up. For me, it's not the issue if you do it. It's the exalting of yourself because you are and the downgrading of others if they don't. When you ain't really doing nothing. Because when they came in the land, you don't read nowhere anytime when tabernacles is mentioned with nobody going to make no booths. Make a booth for what? That was to signify that you were dwelling in a temporary place until you came into the kingdom where he had a place prepared for you, dummy. Let me ask you this here. Go ahead.
So you can say on the first one they did it, that he came and visit them. If you look at it like that, then on the back end, like you said, you got to come up to the kingdom.
Yeah, I was for a minute. This is how you want to look at it. Let me ask y'all this here. John chapter 14, Yahushua said what? In my Father's house there are what? Mansions translated to what? Dwelling places, correct? So where can you find justification for that in the law? Because you do got one, and I tell it to you quite regularly. Maybe not recently, but quite regularly.
Oh, I didn't think about knowing his art.
Oh, no, not knowing his art. I want you to think about it in juxtaposition to these very booths that I'm referring to, that he told them to construct. Kalisha, you know where that's at in the law? My Father's house has many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you.
Oh, I think I know.
What about you, David? Lil Johnny, Stanley. I don't know what you're referring to. The reason why I say that when you say Deuteronomy 20, I want you to be in the mind. Somebody who don't know the word, if you say Deuteronomy 20, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh no. That ain't it. You got something for me, Kalisha, Deidre? What about you, Monte? Civic, Tavon? Huh? Thinking about it. Any of y'all on who watching this stream, we at the 38-minute mark. I'll give you 39 minutes. I'll give you 60 seconds to come up with something. This is a very easy answer, too, and some of you going to kick yourself dead in your anus for not answering it. Will, what you have for that? You said you had something. That is correct. He said that I give you vineyards which you have not planted and houses which you have not built. That means in his house there were many mansions and he prepared a place for you. Did he not? Is that not the same? You did not build. So why would they be dwelling in booths when he built places for them to dwell? Did y'all hear that? Do y'all understand that? In my Father's house, there are many mansions. He said, I brought you into a land that flowed with milk and honey. So with vineyards that you have not planted, wells that you have not digged, and houses which you have not built. He prepared all of those dwelling places. When you came in the land, you moved into a home which you had not built. Y'all do know that, right? Let me find the verse for you. We come back to Isaiah 13. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Pick it up at verse 6. Well, you can make it 3. Let's score. They might as well read all of that and not leave that out. Deuteronomy 6 and 3. Hear therefore, O Yasharal, observe to do it, that it might be well with you, that you may increase mightily. Excuse me. As Yahuwah your Elohim and your Abbas have promised you in a land that flow with milk and honey, hear, O Yasharal, Yahuwah our Elohim is one Yahuwah. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. These words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently unto your sons, shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlet between your eyes, mark of Yahuwah versus the mark of the beast. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And it shall be when Yahuwah your Elohim shall have brought you into the land which he sware unto your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, to give you great and goodly cities which you built not. Hold on, let me see it to you again. To give you great and goodly cities which you built not. Are you not going? If you're not going to enter into a kingdom what's going to have great and goodly cities which you have not built, because they said New Jerusalem will come down from Shamahim, did it not? You did not build that. Let me read you the Hebrews 11 real quick. Like, you ain't got to run over there. I'll tell you the verse. You can write it down for your own notation. Hebrews 11 and 14 says, for they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country, and if they have been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they may have had opportunity to return. But now they desire a better country, that is heavenly, wherefore Elohim is not ashamed to be called their Elohim, for he hath prepared for them a city. Yeah, I can see why you would look at it as a reminder. The only difference is that the law never stated that the booths were for a reminder. But I can dig that perspective. Each mentioned that the booths can be looked on as a reminder of where Yasharal came from once they enter and conquer the land and live in abundance. Because that's what it was. It was a temporary shelter. So you living in a because remember, you nomads. See, it's really showing you of what you were going to deal with while you were scattered. That you were dwelling in a temporary place. That's why I read that Hebrews 11 of saying that we're mindful of the place where we come from, because we declare plainly that we desire a city where our Elohim is not ashamed to be called our Elohim, because he has prepared for us a city. Because in my Father's house there's many mansions. I'll go to prepare a place for you, because Yahuwah had already prepared the land of Canaan for you before he came to bring you out. So you would no longer need those booths once you entered in. The reason why you can see this here is the making of the booths is only referenced in Leviticus 23. When you see them dwelling, keeping tabernacles at the building of the temple by Solomon, ain't no mention of booths. When you see them keeping that first booths coming out of Babylon with Nehemiah, ain't no mention of booths. It was mention of feasting. It was mention of that word, and to give portions of them who didn't have nothing. But yes, that is an accurate assessment of him looking at it in that fashion. We're in verse 11. Houses full of all good, which you filled not, wells digged, which you dig not, vineyards and olive trees, which you planted not, when you shall have eaten and be full. Now, why is that important? Because when you enter into the land, there'll be vineyard. I'm talking about the kingdom. There'll be vineyards that you did not. He was showing you what he was going to do later, that you were going to enter into a place of rest where there was things already prepared for you. It was already made for you. You didn't build that house. He built it. I'm just referencing so you can understand why Yahushua turn around and say, in my Father's house, there's many mansions, so that you can understand that he just was telling you what the law said. Because in his father, he said, many goodly cities and houses which you not built. Is that not his Father dwelling many dwelling places for you? You literally entered into it. Understand that the land of Yasharal is a massive space to be entering in, and nobody built a house. You understand? None of you built a house when you entered into that land. None of you planted a vineyard, and none of you digged a well. All you did was move in. What you think gonna happen when you enter into an eternal kingdom? You think you're gonna be building something? All you're gonna do is do what? Move in.
You know, you talking about earlier. Once they have built, the people who was fun.
Move in. Ain't no need for me to do nothing else.
They don't take no part in the building construction.
You moving into a house fully furnished. Fully furnished. Isaiah 13. I think we left off in about verse. I don't know what verse I left off. I burst off in verse 9. Behold, the day of Yahuwah come, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of Shamahim and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens and the earth, and shall remove her out of her place, and the wrath of Yahuwah of hosts, and the day of his fierce anger. Now I'm going to tell you that verse 13 is close. Very, very close in regards to what we finna look at. Let me get this Psalms 59:6 that Michael back there mentioned earlier. She thought we forgot. Oh, they return that evening, make a noise like a dog. Oh, no, that's not it. That's dealing with killers. That's dealing with killers. So let's go over here to Isaiah chapter 24, so you can see the first part that I was referencing before, the Zechariah 14. 24:1, book of Isaiah. Behold, Yahuwah make the earth empty and make it waste. He turn it upside down, scatter abroad the inhabitants thereof. It shall be as the people, so with the priest. As with the servant, so with his master. As with the maid, so with her mistress. As with the buyer, so with the seller. As with the lender, so with the borrower. As with the taker of usury, so with him that give usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and spoiled. And Yahuwah hath spoken this word. The earth mourn and fade away. The world languish and fade away. The haughty and poor of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. This is why I came to say, because they have what? Transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore, the curse devour the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourn, the vine languish. All the merry hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabernacle cease. The noise of them that rejoice end. The joy of the harp cease. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is. I feel like I did not see what I want, what I came here for. Said mention that, like I said, that ain't what I wanted. I don't see what I came for. No. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what we want. It's just further down, and I appreciate that. Further down than I desire. Drop down to verse 20. We're 19, actually. Shoot, you could make it 18. You could make it 17. 24 and 17. I don't know why I had in my brain that was verse 8 or 9. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitant of the earth. It shall come to pass that he who flee from the noise of fear shall fall into the pit. He that come up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open. The foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. And this is why I told you that you wouldn't see earthquake here. Because he say the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Let me say that to you again. The earth will reel to and fro like a drunkard. Any of y'all ever been that drunk that you were doing a drunk man? That's how he say the earth gonna shake. That's why I mentioned this one here, not the other, because this is more descriptive. You can see that in your brain. And shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. It shall rise, it shall fall, and not rise again, because he's gonna make a new earth and a new heaven. This earth here is not coming back. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, the destruction of Satan and his angels, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited, Satan being locked up. And the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when Yahuwah of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem before his ancients gloriously, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now you notice again, Zion is again significant of his government. His government will reign in Zion, which is in Jerusalem, because that's his place where he seeks to dwell. But look at this here. I didn't get to Joel 3. Let's get that rid of while we at it. All this is pointing to the end, and it's a very ugly end for everyone involved. Joel chapter 3, verse 13. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come you, get you down, for the press is full, and the fast overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahuwah is near in the valley of decision, or the valley of Armageddon. We still holding Revelation 16, correct? All this goes back to him, what we was looking at in Psalm 76. He got to break the bow of the battle, the sword, and whatever else the other one was. You understand? Because in order for him to get his tabernacle, let's put it to you this way. Does that not coincide with the law? Because in order for him to dwell in the place that he set apart to dwell in, did he not go to war to remove the people who were dwelling there? And what were those people doing who were dwelling there? They were transgressing the everlasting covenant. They changed the ordinances, and they defiled the land. So they had to be utterly emptied, and they had to be wasted, so that he could dwell in the place that he had marked out to live for his wife. Now, see, it's one thing, right? Well, you can look at this here, especially when we're talking about reconciliation on atonement. Text tells you, you know what I'm talking about? No matter what you going through, no matter what we went through with Yahuwah, what did he say? He found a means to bring his banished unto him. This again, because I meant to mention this to you when we were talking about this here, as far as his love is concerned. And the things when you look at how Yahuwah loves, it can't fail. If you're merciful, mercy cannot fail. If you're selfless, selflessness cannot fail. Goodness does not fail. Gentleness does not fail. That's why he say love never fails. Because if you're exhibiting, because Elohim is love, and what does it tell you about your Elohim? He is what? What is Elohim? What does he say he is? He is love, but he also is eternal. So how can an eternal being's love ever cease? You understand what I'm telling you? If he is eternal, how can his love ever cease? It can. It cannot cease. He already said he was tired. And that's why he had an attitude. I just don't know why he just didn't say, I'm tired.
I ain't want it. I'm like, no. Chill me then.
Yeah, that nigga crying, I want to lay down. Then lay the whole blanket out here for people to eat on. He want to lay on it. Now that everybody coming to eat, he mad because he got to get up. You better cut that junk out, because that's an ugly world out there for the type of behavior you exhibit.
I'm glad he actually expressing his crime now. He understand why he's crying.
Yeah, because I asked him, what's your problem?
No, I've been trying to get him out of that for long.
Yeah, because I asked him earlier, I said, hey, man, what you did all that for? He said, I was tired. I'm tired. I said, well, why you just didn't say I'm tired versus making a scene? I don't know. Don't make a scene. You embarrass yourself. They're gonna start thinking you're a Nancy boy. That's not the type of. Let me look at me, boy. Look at me, boy. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Oh, that boy tired. Don't put that boy in bed. That boy's drunk. Yeah, his mouth say he don't want to. His body say I want to get in the bed. But boy, you don't want negative attention. That's one thing, right? That you should tell you. If you catch them kids, right, especially boys, that they want attention and they doing negative things in order to get it, you should let them know immediately once you recognize that son, this is not the way to go about getting my attention. Because because you got to understand, so when they're looking for attention, they don't care what type of way it takes for them to get it. And you want to understand them that negativity is not the way to garner attention. You know what I'm saying? That's not how you want to get it, because you're going to get attention that you don't want. See, you want attention, but then you thinking, now like you said, now you're getting a whooping. That's not the attention that you wanted. Because yeah, you got attention, but you got back the same negativity that you were putting out. You didn't want a whooping, you just wanted someone to acknowledge you. And we have to be wise enough to understand that's what they doing and not fly off the handle and let them be known. Son, if you just wanted me to kick it with you or say something to you, son, that's what you should have just did. See, this is not how you do that. You know what I'm talking about? See, I seen that what he doing. That's why I told him to go in the room. Then I'm like, this here, now you catching attitude. I ain't gonna knock you out. You deserve it. Because I don't know who you think you're yelling at. I don't know who you think's scared of you. See, that's how you get beat up. Because you can't whoop me. I know in your mind you feel like I'm gonna fight that nigga one day. Well, guess what? I ain't your mama. So I'm care how old you is. Yeah, you can bulk up at your mama. You ain't gonna bulk up at me, young nigga. I could be 63 years old, nigga. What you want to do? I got a pistol in the back for you. Whichever one I'm gonna put the bat first. After that, I'm gonna shoot you in your big toe. I ain't gonna kill you because you a nephew, but I'm gonna shoot you though. I'm gonna see you to the hospital. Man, my uncle shot me. You would think about when you was 5 and 6. I'm gonna whoop that nigga. Look at you. I don't fight. I'm old, nigga. I'm gonna shoot you. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna call your mom and your dad and say, I shot your son. I shot your foot though. Look at you, boy. Go on, get in the bed, boy. You talking about you sleep? You better watch how you say no to me, boy. I'm trying to tell you, boy, I'm gonna take them testicles of yours and hand them to you. Shoot, that boy, that's too aggressive for my tail. I don't know who he think he talking to. That nigga tried to hulk up the other day. I said, come on with it then, boy. Come on with it. Hey, who you think this is? Shoot, that nigga hulked up at your mom. I said, well, that nigga, that's something else. He said, leave me alone. No. I said, oh, Lord. I understand. But I know, but shoot, she was just asking that nigga to come get some vittles.
Just knowing the character.
Yeah, but I was present. She was asking that nigga, she was trying to pass out vittles and had them come back here and play some Uno or something. No, she asked you, like, come get this game. Leave me alone. Oh, boy. I probably feel like, boy, your mama would probably been about 15, 20 years younger. That nigga might have wore one.
Okay.
I was on the run. If I ain't had to go nowhere, he might have wore one. That's just disrespect. She ain't gonna whoop nothing. That's sad.
She gonna try.
Oh, that mean them are unfruitful whoopings. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something right now, boy. If you gonna whoop a child, boy, and nigga look at you like, ha ha, just go ahead and give them some orderly discipline with your words. Don't get them kids no halfway whooping. You gonna whoop that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Make them remember the whooping. Make them remember like this here, boy. I ain't gonna try my mom. I ain't gonna try. See, some of y'all women soft. Y'all ain't from that generation of women who, boy, them little boys and like this here, like, I'm gonna run away. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all ain't got one of them whoopings. I'm gonna run away. You know what I'm talking about? And not run away because you being abused, but like you just that upset. I'm running away to grandma's house. I don't like it here. That's when mothers like this here, they whooped you enough, you respected them. Y'all ain't doing that. That nigga laughing at you on the inside. I remember my daddy tried to whoop me one time. I said, this nigga, this all you got? You got to come better than this here. This ain't going to work. This nigga tried to pop me with a slipper. What I'm going to do with that? Nigga, I'm 12. Tell nothing about no slipper, nigga. Come over here, verse 15. Joel 3. That's where we at. The sun and moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their signing. There Yahuwah shall also roar out of Zion, utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and earth shall shake. But Yahuwah will be the hope of his people and the strength of the sons of Yasharal, so that you shall know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, dwelling in Zion, my Kadesh mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be Kadash, and there shall no strangers pass through you anymore. It shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop new wine, the hills shall flow with milk, the rivers of Yehudah shall flow with waters, and the mountains shall come forth of the house of Yahuwah, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation. Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the sons of Yehudah, because they shed innocent blood in their land. That's them killing the saints. You understand that, right? That's them killing the saints. Let's get that word for innocent so you know. That's them killing the saints now. Because you ain't innocent because you a Hebrew. Innocent here is Naki. That is exempt, clear, innocent, flee from guilt, free from punishment. Noon, Kuf, Yod. What you got for me? Noon, Kuf, Yod.
The light of Yahusha is life.
The light of Yahusha is life. Anybody else? Noon, Kuf, and Yod.
Yahusha will do the final work.
He'll do the final work. The work of the last Adam is everlasting life. I can roll with it. The work of last Adam is everlasting life. And you notice, right, that he's going to do what? What does it say the beast's going to do? He's going to persecute the saints and do what? Overcome them, excuse me. So that's why you're going to have what? That's the innocent blood that's shed in the land. I'm just telling you so you know and understand that. That is the innocent blood that is shed in the land. The innocent blood is just not somebody who's there. Joel 3:20, but Yehudah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahuwah dwell in Zion. Now, do any of you know the song that would reference why Yahuwah dwells in Zion? It's a song. It's a song. It won't say Zion in it specifically. I will let's look and see.
People rocking his song. Said 48.
Not necessarily, but we'll use it right now. Psalms 48 and 1. Psalms 48 and 1. Great is Yahuwah and greatly to be praised in the city of our Elohim, in the mountain of his Kadashness. Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Michael, where are the sides of the north, Michael? Do you know that what verse and place references the sides of the north? Why not? Nisha, do you know what references the sides of the north? I cannot.
I got the baby.
Hold on. Baby.
You got the baby like the baby ain't even doing nothing but laying there. You wasn't rocking that baby. I ain't moved damn time. Boy, that nigga there tell a story when a story needed to be told. Great seeds. Oh, now the baby threw up. Who references the sides of the north? No.
What's the question? I thought the snap was gonna give him that.
Sides of the no sides of the north. Okay, Jessica. Do you know where the sides of the north are? Oh, who nobody knows? No. Yes. Where? Yes. Get the verse, please. Isaiah 14 and 13 tell you, right? About the sides of the north. So you were thinking about the gate, Stanley, and whoever else mentioned that, because Judah is the north gate. And we weren't referring to the gate specifically, but the statement of the sides of the north. It's not incorrect, but that's not the place. He don't say sides of the north there. Again, all I'm trying to do is get your mind to be specific. Because the reason why I'm getting your mind to do this, you who are willing, the day gonna come. Well, like I say, it may not be no gospel talking, like you going out evangelizing and this, that, that, and the third. But this thing's gonna be happening. Who people whom you know who don't believe in Yahuwah, and they gonna start asking questions, and you're gonna have to be able to answer them and answer them distinctly, efficiently, and directly as possible. Yeah.
Niggas who believe that well, as niggas have to press into it.
Yeah, you got to be specific.
That's gonna be the difference between niggas who don't believe as in depth as we do.
Yeah,
them getting over the hump.
Absolutely. You can't come with a Deuteronomy 20 and think that's because again, that person don't know. You have to get out of the habit of that you're talking to people who know, because that's not going to benefit somebody who don't know. Oh, what did it mean? Oh, that's Deuteronomy 20. And again, what I told you before when I used to preach in the street, you can't go on the luxury of opening up an app and opening up a book. You may not have that amount of time. You know what I'm talking about? You can't be generic, broad, and expansive when you're trying to explain something to somebody who don't know or believe what you do. And when things go to happening in the earth and they wondering why you not moved. And you as a man have to be sufficient and efficient enough to properly explain that to them, because you might can win a soul. That means you got to maximize your words. You ain't going to have time to be like, yeah, man, over there in Deuteronomy 13 and 12, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody listening to that. That's something you do when you know somebody's sitting down and you can open up the book for them. But if y'all ever heard of an elevator pitch? That means, you got to practice an elevator pitch. That means you got to get everything that you need to say within 30 seconds.
And they got to be enough where they can go.
Can grasp, understand, and be able to say, I want to know more. Because look at this here. Look at Isaiah 14 and 13, right? For you said in your heart, I will ascend in the Shamahim. I will exalt my throne above the stars. I will also sit in the mount of the congregation, which we've already established. That's Mount Zion. In the sides of the north. Now, pause. Now, take it right. We're in Psalms 48. What did it say? Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, which is the mount of the congregation, which is the place that Yahuwah dwells, according to Psalm 76. Are we not wrong? Are we correct with that? In the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Now, somebody who don't know no text would be like, well, Lucifer said he gonna dwell in the sides of the north. But then they come and read Psalms 48 and they say, well, it say the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Why does it say that? What you gonna tell them? Well, the number one, the first place you're supposed to tell them is what Yahushua said in Matthew chapter 5, where he said, don't swear on Jerusalem, because that's the city of the great king. Come look at it. Matthew chapter 5. Verse 33. Matthew 5 and 33. You all right? You following along? You singing a song? You doing a dance? What you doing then? I was trying to see how swift you were. And you were on the draw. Oh, you following along too. Very well, Mordecai. Again, you have heard that it has been said by them of old time, you shall not forswear yourself, but shall perform unto Yahuwah your oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is Elohim's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Now let's return back to Psalms 48. So you see Mount Zion on the sides of the north. Of course, what Stanley and Glover mentioned, the sides of the north is the north gates. Who can tell me what, because we already read about the gates when we were reading Revelation 21 earlier, about the apostles' names being on the foundation, correct? So who can tell me what tribes are with Judah on the north gate? If you know where it's at, you can find it. Who don't know where that's at to find it? This is in Ezekiel 48.
Is Judah, Reuben, and Levi?
I believe so. But we need to verify. Ezekiel 48 and 34. Or 27, somewhere in there. It's at the end. Because you know what it said at the end of that chapter? The name of the city is what? Yahuwah is there. He dwelled there. Because Jerusalem is his tabernacle. And Mount Zion is his dwelling place.
Verse 31 is Reuben, Judah, and Levi.
Reuben, Judah, and Levi. So guess what you got there? Praise is joined to the afflicted. Ain't that what Reuben name mean? I have been afflicted. Verified in Genesis 29, if you would. I think it's about 29 and 30. Genesis 29 and 30. Look at you, boy. We're going to make you a wise man, mighty man in the scriptures if you learn how to behave.
32. It says, Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely Yahuwah have looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me.
Remember what we were talking about? Affliction, tribulation, working patience, and patience experience, and experience hope, and hope make not ashamed. Now look at it, what's on the north gate. Judah, Reuben, and Levi. Those who have been afflicted have been joined to praise. Don't you think if you've been joined to affliction, you will learn how to praise? I bet you praise Elohim if you came up out of some manner of affliction. Ain't that's what Job did? Ain't that's what we read earlier in James chapter 5? To look upon Job as an example of patience and the pity and mercy of Yahuwah. And that he got more on the back end than he did on the front end. He took a loss, but he remained. Therefore, salvation came. That's an example of 1 Corinthians chapter 3. That if you take a loss and you lose everything, but you remain, you save your soul. He lost everything, but was delivered. See, a lot of times we don't want to take no loss. Sometimes losses are necessary in order to get you where Yahuwah wants you to be with what he wants you to have. But see, we don't want to do that because we've been accustomed to the things that we hold into. So I care not to lose that. But he cares to take it. Better to suffer the loss and deliver your soul than to maintain the gain and then be in his disdain, if you would. Y'all do know what disdain means, don't you? They taught you that, because that's a dollar word. You know what that means, no?
I didn't make it through school.
You didn't make it through school.
I mean, I made it, but I didn't.
Hold on, Glover. Hold
You know what
on.
I'm saying? I just had
I get what he's
saying.
saying.
I understand what he's saying. I was there and I graduated.
I did enough to get out.
Back to Psalms 48. We're going to grab Psalms 24 because Psalms 24 was the psalm that I was referencing. But Psalms 48 is definitely sufficient. Listen what it said. I'm going to read verse 3 again. Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Elohim is known in her palaces for a refuge. Let's pause. Because again, it's referring us back. Now, palaces here is a different word. This is Armon. This means citadel, palace, fortress, castle. Y'all know what a citadel is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very well. That's a fortified palace. Citadel is a place fortified for war. Now you have Aleph, Rosh, Meme, U, and Nun. Aleph, Rosh, Meme, U, and Nun for this particular city. This particular thing. He said that it is known. The Elohim is known in her palaces. Well, you would be a citadel or a fortified fortress because you put on the armor of Elohim. That's why he is known. Notice he said Elohim is known in her palaces for a refuge. Refuge in this particular passage is Mizmowr. And again, that is a refuge of Elohim, height, stronghold. Elohim is known as a place of strength in his houses. Let's continue. For lo, the kings were assembled and they were passed together. They saw it and they so marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. Fear took hold upon them there, and pain as a woman in travail. This is again referring to all these kings who are going to be gathered up and they see this. Now they terrified because again, Elohim seeks to dwell in Salem. That's his tabernacle. That's his house. You understand? Jerusalem is his house. Mount Zion is his dwelling place. In his house, he dwells in the highest mountaintop, or he exalts his mountain above the hills. My government is above all. I dwell in the highest of heights, if you would. That's why he's called what? The Most High. Because he's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. There is no one above him. See, we're just taking, we've been dealing with a lot of different stuff with tabernacles, but as we get towards the end, we have to dwell with the main part that's never spoken of when tabernacles is brought up, and that's the fact that Yahuwah seeks to dwell in the place where he set aside for himself, and that everyone's going to dwell with him in his house, because he seeks to dominate and rule from his house, and you're going to worship and honor me in my house, and if not, I will kill you. And not I will just kill you arbitrarily, but that you gathered up because you wanted to take my house. You know what I'm talking about? So we ain't even got to that in Revelation 16. You want to take my house and make it your house. So you ain't got to serve me in my house because of all the houses in the earth. Just like this here. It's only 2 men in here who done bought a house. So you were looking, wherever you was looking at, you was looking for houses, and you said, this is the place that I shall dwell. Doesn't matter why you chose that house. I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? Of all the cities, of all the lands in the earth, Yahuwah said, I'm going to dwell there. This is the place where my name going to be placed at. But guess what? When you get that deed, who name on it? That's the name where that's your name on it, right? Mm-hmm. That's the place where I place my name at. You ride by there, my name on that. That's my house. And that's how he look at the land, more specifically Jerusalem, because he's the Elohim of Shalom, and it literally means peace. Literally means that. The city of peace. By definition. Hold on, let me see if we get you the whole one in there. So I'm just making sure that we don't get caught up in what's the word for making everything about you. You know what I'm talking about? And forgetting who it's really about. Because you coming to live with him, he ain't coming to live with you. Which goes back to the reference what I was talking about the other day. Somebody seeing you and saying, I'll take responsibility for you. Meaning, I'm going to love you. Which goes back to the part of, that's why he was so adamant about reconciliation. That's why he's so adamant in Malachi about why he hate divorce. Which is why he was so adamant in Malachi about not dealing treacherously with your wife. Because his objective is for his love to be manifested in all the earth. So that causes us that no matter what we got going on, no matter what it is, that we have to make sure that it doesn't matter that his love is manifested, because that's the most important thing. Because as the text tells you, you already know that if love can conquer death, then you know love can conquer anything that a man and a woman got going on, that a man and a man got going on, that a woman and a woman got going on, that a parent to a child got going on. Love beat death. You understand that? That would have said in Songs of Solomon chapter 8, didn't it? Love is strong as death. He said a man would be utterly contemned. He'd give his whole house for that. Hold on, man. Come over here to Songs of Solomon chapter 8. He said, don't talk like that and don't share it, huh? Come on to Songs of Solomon chapter 8. Songs of Solomon chapter 8, verse 6. Songs of Solomon chapter 8, verse 6. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is strong as death. Elohim so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that through him they might have life. Jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are the coals of fire, which have the most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love. Many people can't stop love. Neither can the floods drown it. If a man would give all the substance of his house for love, it would be utterly contemned. You know what that going back to? Remember we were talking about this man that this man gave everything he had, and he made himself poor that you might be rich. That man gave every substance out of his body for love and was willing to be contemned, because contemned is condemned. That man was willing to die by that. That man was willing to die by that. Now, of course, Jerusalem is the teaching of peace. That's what's taught in Jerusalem. And what did he say about Jerusalem? See, let me show you. Get your Isaiah 52 and 7. Take a trip over there for me. Just Isaiah 52 and 7 real quick. I was referencing another verse. I done forgot it. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bring good tidings, that publish shalom, that bring good tidings of good, that publish salvation, that say unto Zion, Elohim is king. He say he dwell, his tabernacle is, his house is in the place of peace. That's why the house is supposed to be a place of peace. That's why a man supposed to dwell with his wife according to knowledge, to seek to make sure peace is ensued. Matter of fact, Psalm 34. Just Psalm 34. You just do it like that, Psalm 34. Psalm 34 and 11. We'll make it quick and brief. Come, you sons, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of Yahuwah. What is a man? What man is he that desire life and love many days, that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil, your lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil, do good, seek shalom, and ensure it, and pursue it. That man say, pursue peace. He say, pursue peace. That's what a man and a woman ought to do, pursue peace. I mean, if I say man and woman, I ain't just talking about married people. I'm talking about period. You should pursue peace. He say, blessed are the what? The peacemakers. For what? They gonna see Elohim. You should seek the things that ensure peace, that ensure tranquility, that ensure completeness. See, when we do these things, that means we will put off the vanity of self to make sure that peace that's if you actually care about love. You understand? See, most of us don't care about love. I'm talking about what Yahuwah say love is. I don't care what man say it is. I don't care what man say it is. Because love don't work ill to nobody else. So if we find ourselves working ill, that means we're not loving like we're supposed to. That don't make you evil or wicked. That just means we ain't leading with love. We ought to lead with love. Would you agree? You lead with that, you ain't going to have no problems. Or if there are problems, they can be easily rectified. That should be the statement of every man in here and every woman in the house that y'all dwell in, that in this house, we're going to lead with love. Not just in tongue now. He said don't love in word, but in deed and in truth. In faithfulness and in truth. When he say indeed and in truth with your works and in faithfully perform that in your work, just lead with love. When you lead with love, it's much easier. Now, I'm not just saying that there's not going to be discrepancies, head bumping, you know what I'm saying, offenses and disputes. But if they happen and we lead with love, then they can be easily rectified. Because he told you offense is going to come. And we're going to sit here and think that we're going to live in a fantasy world where friends and friends, family and family, husband and wife are not going to butt heads and have disagreements. That is just insane. You know what I'm talking about? But if we know that we say, I'm going to lead with love, even in the midst of that, it can be easily rectified. Because if you're leading with love, that means you're leading with the care and concern of the other person. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to take you to have to swallow your ego in order to do it. Again, you're flesh and blood, you're dust and ashes. So you would have to understand that's going to happen. But if you profess to have the love of Elohim in your heart and then stack on top of it that you love a particular individual, whether spouse, whether family, whether child, then you're going to lead with love. And that's where you try to make sure that you be gentle and good and long suffering with them because you love them. Because love doesn't seek to destroy. A lot of the stuff that amongst our people is destroyed is because we don't leave with love. I told you, when my daddy died, and we was over there and they were talking about trying to get them funeral arrangement, and my cousin stood up and he said, boy, I'm finna dip, because he said, ain't no love in here. And he wasn't lying. You know what I'm talking about? He said, ain't no love in here. That man wasn't talking about no emotions. What he was talking about is everybody was self-centered. Everybody was talking about what they wanted and not taking in the fact that there were people sitting in the room who daddy just died. And none of the people who were arguing, going back and forth, were considering that this man's children was sitting in the room and they daddy just died. Not even his own mother. Because she was concerned about what she wanted for his funeral. And they arguing and bickering about that. And my cousin stood dead up and said, boy, ain't no love in this house. I'm out. And he did what needed to be done, and he said what needed to be said. See, I didn't feel no pressure because I don't know none of you people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know none of y'all. Some of y'all I'm seeing for the first time in years, if ever. So the lack of love in that house is not going to offend me because I don't know you people. But for him, that offended him. Now, we say we the people of Elohim, and Yahushua gave us the instruction that we ought to love one another, that individuals that know that we are his disciples and that we should love each other as he loved us, then we have to make sure that we keep at the forefront of our mind till it is your complete nature that you don't do anything opposite, that you lead with love. Because at the end of the day, if you enter into Jerusalem, that's a city that was led with love. Love is a beautiful thing when you look at it as what it actually is and not an emotional feeling. Because again, what does he say? Love never what? Fails. It say Elohim, the word of Elohim or the word of Yahuwah endures for what? And it said Elohim is what? Love. So that means the word of Elohim is love, and that word endures forever. Therefore, his word never fails, nor does it come back void. It prospers into the thing of which he sent it unto. And if he sent it unto for us to love him because he loved us, then it should be quite easy for us to love one another. Very simple things. You know what I'm saying? It's just overcoming the desire to live how you want to live. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard, man. It's only the hard part. You know why it's hard? Let me take that back. It's hard because most of us did not come from houses that led with love. So then you becoming an adult and you trying to figure out how to lead with love. So therefore, because you come from environments where people didn't lead with love, you are extremely defensive of opening yourself up to the ability to love. But loving is not a vulnerability. Remember, vulnerability is opening yourselves up to attack. You're not opening yourself up to an attack because you lead with love. They're opening up themselves for a condemnation because the love which is manifested will judge them in the last day. Ain't that what he told them? That's what he told them. Back to Psalm 48. We're in Psalms 48 and 7. Psalm 48 and 7. I'm gonna tell you something, right? Elohim done gave a lot of gifts, but the greatest gift he ever gave man was love. That's the greatest gift he ever gave man was love. Because when he gave you love, he gave you the ability to understand Elohim. Without love, you can never understand Yahuwah. Yahuwah is love personified. And again, it's not an emotion. And you got a delight to love. You have to have a delight to serve someone else. You got a delight to sacrifice. You got a delight to do that because you love them. That's why he say don't love in word, but in deed and in truth. Be faithful in your works of love. That's what he told you. If you faithful in your works of love, ain't nothing gonna fail because love does not fail. See, love fails amongst our people in this society because you lead with selfishness. You know what I'm talking about? It say love don't injure, it don't hurt its own. Let's come over to 1 Corinthians 13. I let the Lord take through Paul. I let him tell you. He'll tell you better than I can. 1 Corinthians 13 and 1. Though I speak with tongues of men and malachim and have not love, I've become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. That man say, if you ain't got no love, you just like somebody banging on an instrument. You just making noise. That's what we see with a lot of our people, ain't it? Just making noise. But you over there eating pie. Ooh. All my business. How are we telling all your business and everybody can see you? You know what be tripping me out when she said that? That made me think about that Crimson Cure. She be doing that stuff. That nigga who be dressing up like a woman be doing. She be like, boop, boop. I be like, who talks like that? Are there women in real life who do that? The Crimson Cure, she be doing that. But then it's a comedian dude, TC, whatever he called himself. That nigga always be doing that when he be dressing up like a woman. Boop, boop, boop. I be like, is it women who talk like that? And she like, boop. She was gonna say, boop, boop. Yeah, I'm eating the pie. Boop, boop.
This nigga really.
Showing that church.
Oh, you say you ate a lot of salad this week?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so you felt like you deserved that pie? Boop. That's what you said.
Hold on.
I'm gonna mess with because when she said that, oop, that just made me think about that lady. No, that just made me think about that lady, man. That's all. Knock how she was doing. I'm like, if that ain't pie, that's a hell of a loose cake.
No.
Because that's how she was eating it. You know what I'm saying? She was eating it like she was scooping it. Yeah, you don't scoop no pie. I mean, no cake. You cut him, live. You know that's that. What it is? What that lady name is? With the pies?
Patty?
Nah, not Patty LaBelle. I'm talking about the pie they got in there. Granny Smith. Yeah, you got. Yeah, Marie Cotton. Nobody know who that is. You got to scoop him. Hmm?
How you vacuum? Another story.
I don't know what the hell you talking about. Somebody boo this man. Boo.
You got 3 more shots.
You got 3 more shots to try to hit it. Like this here, Russell Rest Brick. That's what we're going to call him on the show.
One day I might drop it.
The likelihood of that is the likelihood of a sun shining on the dogs behind. Every now and again. Woo! That nigga trying to hit a Brandon. That nigga gonna hit that joke. That nigga gonna run with it. Nigga, I won. Nigga, I finally won.
That nigga got you that crack that one day.
Hey, that's how you. Yeah, but that's how you can.
Boy, you talking about that crack, boy?
That's how you can tell that nigga don't tell good jokes.
So excited.
Didn't he though? This nigga whole life is crack. Everywhere he go. This nigga say, you walk around here with no drawers on.
That boy wrote that for 30 minutes, boy.
And then after that, he got destroyed. Yeah, you know, because that boy waddle. I'm leaving him alone because he ain't here to rank back. He'll be here soon enough. And boy, that nigga gonna get a salvo
They coming back?
of Joe. He gonna show up one day, and I got some weaponry for that nigga. I'm talking about automatic Draco.
He got his spot, boy. He might be done.
Not done. He gonna be over there trying to have some fun.
Boy, gonna have a couple chairs there.
That boy was already talking about we can have service at my house. I said, boy, everybody ain't gonna fit in there, boy. I say, shoot, my apartment was 900 square feet.
I'm telling you.
He did say that. I actually had a conversation with him.
He told me that.
Man, my spot is right around the corner from here. 940 square feet. Nigga, everybody couldn't fit in there.
2 bedrooms, I'm telling you.
Everybody couldn't fit in there.
So sincere.
How big this house is? About 1,700? Shoot, it's a tight squeeze in here. 1,800. That's twice that. Mine 2,000. Only part is it's just that open floor plan makes it somewhat bearable. You know what I'm talking about? 900 square feet ain't gonna do nothing. That ain't gonna hold the churn.
You need a knee in there, boy.
We already know because we've been mine like this here, boy. That was tight for the night. Nigga had to open up the back porch. You gotta sit on the back. No room in there, and that junk open. I just see a nigga gotta be in the hallway next to the toilet. That ain't no way to live. He said, though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries. This is 1 Corinthians 13:2. And though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains and not have love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not love, it profit me nothing. Love suffer long. So if you got love, because remember, Yahuwah, the first thing he declared his name, Yahuwah, Elohim, long what? Suffering. The ability to endure injury with patience. That's the first thing he said, and is kind. Envies not. Lifts it not, vaunts not itself, is not puffed up. So love ain't got no pride. Love ain't got no envy. Love is kind and love is long suffering. Does not behave itself unseemly. Seeks not her own. Is not easily provoked and thinks no evil. So you know Yahuwah never thought evil against Yasharal, nor was he easily provoked to wrath. See, that goes back to anger rests in the bosom of fools. Elohim is not a fool, so therefore that's why he say, be slow to what? Wrath, and slow to anger, because the wrath of man work not the righteousness of Elohim. So we have to be slow to wrath or slow to anger, because it tells you that love is not easily provoked. And how can you say you got love, but you think evil to do to somebody whom you say you love? That's not love. Why would you purposely do evil or do bad or be disagreeable intentionally, maliciously, and spitefully on purpose? Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth. Bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, endure all things. Love never fails. See, love is going to endure. See, at the end of the day, right, you know, you got the vows, love you for richer and poor and all that stuff, and you ain't got to do none of that, because all you would have to do is stand up and look each other in the face and say, I will love you as long as breath is in my lungs. And you would have said all of that. Because pretty much what it say with them doggone vows is what he just said right here. Since we're excluding richer and poor and in sickness and in health, I think you would. I would think if you love somebody, you would love them if they were sick. That ain't love if you bail out because they sick. You're an opportunist and a selfish bastard. May all manner of calamity fall upon your head and fall upon you swiftly. If you departed because somebody took a loss, and now you feel like you ain't got what you had before, you's a scam. If you don't know what that is, that's a slut and a tramp. That's an old word. It's not a new word. From about the early 90s, about 93. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe about 92. I know each know what it is. Niggas like the scam. Or the traditional word, which most of you are familiar with, use a skeezer.
There's nothing wrong with being that no more. That's the only reason it's like that.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a skeezer.
Or a whore or a tramp.
Or a whore, or ain't no shame.
There you go.
I just shared you the tweet where the doggone congressman talking about they want to pass a bill that say once you get over 40 years old, you got to get a vasectomy.
He said it was satire.
I didn't say it was satire.
No, I'm saying that's what he said.
Yeah,
That's what he was doing.
That's what he said. He wanted to open up the conversation.
I know that ain't no satire. That's a feminist agenda. That's an attack on masculinity. Or if you done had 3 kids, you got to get a vasectomy, whichever one come first. Because they talking about if they want to make abortion rights to be on women, then we ought to do it to men. Men ought to get a vasectomy. That's the hatred for manhood. The reason why they doing that because they know the man control the seed. Without the man, there ain't no generations. That's attack on men. They got to make the women feel we carry the womb. You an incubator, baby. You just holding that man's seed. That's his child. I seen a dude to say it's their legacy. No, that's not their legacy. That's his legacy. Ain't no child, no woman's legacy. But see, you can't talk like that in 2021. But guess what? I don't give a damn. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I know about Franklin like that.
And Maze. Ain't talking about Beverly. Not no joy and pain. None of that. But that's serious though. That's that man's legacy because that seed carry his name. That woman ain't carrying nothing, but she's an incubator. That don't make it no less. We done already had that conversation. Woman, bring forth your child. You ought to give her the respect and honor due for bringing forth your child. I seen some dudes talking about, well, all she did was just have some kids. I'm like, you niggas busters. All she did was have some niggas. She had your kids, nigga. How you put your seed in a woman you don't even deem worthy enough of giving the proper honor because she brought forth your seed? You's a hell of a nigga. And this be niggas around here, and niggas be stamping and co-signing these whole niggas. That's whole nigga talk. Man, the streetest of the street nigga know you got to have some manner of respect for the woman who brought forth your child. I don't care what you might think of her. I don't care what and if she's a scallywag, scamp, rotten, doggone, slut hoe, that's your fault for giving her your seed. I done told you this before. The most valuable thing that any man in here possesses is a seed. That's the most valuable thing that you possess before you go to talking about the word of Yahuwah, because of course that's going to trump that. But then again, you possess seed there because you got the word of Elohim and that's the seed. So no matter what, the most valuable thing a man possesses is seed. That's why Yahuwah don't drop his seed anywhere.
Gotta be that follow, bro.
He ain't gonna drop his seed anywhere. Yahuwah value his seed. He value his seed. You know what I'm talking about? Man, look here, man. I know most of y'all ain't never had nobody tell you that. But boy, the most valuable thing you possess is your seed. I thank the Lord I had an understanding of that early. I'm not giving my seed to anybody. My seed more valuable than any amount of wealth that I can accrue. That's the most valuable thing you got as a man. That's your seed is you. You understand that? Your seed is a replication of you. Why you think he say, and the seed is the word of Elohim? Because wherever that seed drop at, that's a replication of him. That's why he don't give the gospel to any and everybody. Because you ain't going to mess around and play with my seed. They don't want to have that conversation. That's different. That make this here. Like I told you, when dudes up the road be like, man, you don't understand. You ain't got no kid. You ain't got no baby mama. I do understand, nigga. You ain't value your seed. See, when you was looking for a little bit of pleasure, a little tickle in your pickle. You know what I'm talking about? Now you don't have the tickle. Now you're upset. Now you in a pickle. You ain't like.
There you go. He got a shot.
He landed. You know what I'm talking about? 7 feet out. Low post. I'm talking about good left hook over the right shoulder.
That was a good one, huh? Good tickle, good pickle.
Off the score.
Off the square. It was effective because it put 2 points on the board. High percentage shot.
Definitely. I heard fundamentals.
Fundamental sound. Tim Duncan.
Hey.
All seriousness though. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, dudes don't value their seed. You don't give your seed to anybody. You would have to vet and look at that woman and examine her and say, I have determined based off of the pertinent amount of information before me that this woman is acceptable to give my seed to. Because once you lay with a woman, you've given her your most valuable asset. See, these niggas be worrying prenup. You niggas worrying about giving money to a chick, but not worrying about giving your seed to her. I'm more worried about getting my seed than some money. I can get the money back. She can do whatever she wants to with the seed, and the government gonna allow it. She can abscond with your seed, and you can't do nothing about it. You have to spend tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars just for the right to see your seed. Notice nobody, again, we done had a conversation before. Don't nobody look at a woman and say, oh, that's your egg?
Huh?
You hear people walking, oh, that's your seed? And they never ask the woman if that's her seed either. That's a conversation. That's something that men say about, oh, that's your seed. I'm like, oh, your baby's so cute. They'll tell her, oh, look at that. Look at her egg. She's sitting there looking at, that's my egg over there.
Don't worry about my
Junk sounds stupid.
Go sit down.
You know what I'm talking about? You see somebody say, that's my seed. It just sounds natural.
Go sit down.
People sit around and say, that's my seedling. Nobody say, look at my ovary. It's my ovary running around there. Came out my uterus. I love that ovary. You know what I'm saying? It sounds retarded. Because every culture and every person knows that the child belongs to the man because that seed came from the man. That's why they want to make it seem to be unlawful for a man to recreate himself. Remember, what did it call Seth? Yahuwah has given me a what? Another man, another seed. A righteous seed, if you would. I praise Yahuwah. Psalm 48. We got to get off of here for this evening. Well, let me read Psalm 24 to prove my point, and we'll close in Psalms 48, and Yahuwah will and hold this off for on the morrow. Psalm 24:1, the earth is Yahuwah's, the fullness thereof, the world and all they that dwell therein. He had founded it upon the seas and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the hill of Yahuwah? Who shall stand in his Kadash place? So you're talking about the hill of Yahuwah, that's Har, which is mountain. Hay and Rosh, behold the highest. Let's return to Psalms 48. That's why when you look at Zion, that's why I'm talking about that hill. But I say Psalms 48 is great because it has other elements of what we've been discussing intertwined in it. So you can't beat that. Psalms 48:7. You break the ships of Tarshish with an east wind. As we have heard, so we have seen in the city of Yahuwah of hosts, and the city of our Elohim. Elohim will establish it forever, Selah. And we read that earlier, Revelation 21, New Jerusalem coming down out of Shamahim. He will establish the city forever. We thought of your loving kindness, O Elohim, in the midst of your temple. According to your name, O Elohim, so is your praises unto the ends of the earth. Your right hand is full of righteousness. Let Mount Zion rejoice, the daughters of Yehuda be glad because of your judgments. Walk about Zion and go round about her and tell the towers thereof. Mark you well bulwarks, consider her palaces, that you might tell it to a generation following you. For Elohim is our Elohim forever. He will be our guide, even unto death. Well, let's look at him being your guide. Nahag, he's going to drive, lead, guide, and conduct. Noon, Hay, and Gamal. Proceed. Noon, Hay, Gamal.
I said to behold the messenger of life.
Behold the messenger of life, and he will conduct you even unto death. John 11:25, because I called for it earlier in the first session, and then we didn't grab it. But praise be to Yahuwah. We're going to get it this go around. Make it 11 and 23. John 11, 23. Yahushua said unto her, your brother shall rise again. Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection, the life. He that believe on me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Whosoever live and believe in me shall never die. Believe you this. See what we conclude there, because Elohim will guide and lead you even unto death to his tabernacle, to his dwelling place. Where is the place of his tabernacle? Salem. Where is his dwelling place? Zion. He dwells in the mountains of righteousness that he may rule in the place that teaches peace, meaning teaching the place that taught that the authority attached to chaos shall surely be destroyed. That no disorder or confusion will dwell there, but just peace and tranquility. Ain't that what the book say? That's what happened during the time of Solomon, right? It was a time of what? Peace, no confusion, no war, no nothing. Hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. We'll stop right there, man. I appreciate y'all time this evening. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, Yahuwah willing. Tomorrow, 7:30 p.m., we'll do it again. We're approaching the conclusion of the daily openings of the trap. We got Sunday and Monday. And it's a wrap. Don't look for me Tuesday. You're going to be upset. Because the trap house ain't going to be open on Tuesday. I mean, you could pull up, but the trap house ain't going to be open. Now, you could pull up, you know what I'm talking about, to an ancillary trap if you want some dope. I'll serve you. But you know what I'm talking about? But I ain't opening the trap house, though. The stream ain't coming on. I ain't opening up no stream on no Tuesday. I open it up on Wednesday. Tuesday.
Trap house.
Trap house. You know what I'm saying? I started be talking about, you know what I'm talking about? What do you say? Talking about, I'm looking for my dishes. You talking about, I said they're in the cabinet. I said, I can't tell. By the bags in your scale. No, they don't. But I appreciate y'all, man. You who are willing, man. I'll pick you up on the next one. They say they like Jesus.